from Fox Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Schlereth back here on the program. Good to see you. How are you, bud?
Boom.
I'm doing good, Rich. How are you, buddy?
Hanging in there, man. It's kind of crazy. I'm looking at, some facts that NFL Network Research sent me about what's going on with the playoff picture 11 weeks in. In 35 straight seasons, at least 4 teams have qualified for the playoffs after failing to make the postseason the year before. And currently, there's 6 such teams in playoff spots. 6, not 4, 6.
Yeah.
There's more. I can't tell, right? Like, can you tell who's even going to be in the Final Four in each conference, let alone the Super Bowl?
No.
I'm serious right now, Mark. It's wide open in a way I can't recall.
There's not one dominant team. I mean, you look at the Rams, who I thought, okay, the Rams, I gave them the best team in the league kind of designation last week.
Me too.
And then they beat Seattle, but they get 4 turnovers, they get 4 short fields, and they score 21 points. Like, you should beat Seattle by 21 points if that's what you get. And you end up beating them by a score of 21-19. And so, like, even in a loss, like, those are those kind of losses, Rich, you walk away from as a player and you're like, hey, man, we really screwed this up. We cost ourselves this game. And we did this on the road. We're a damn good football team. And, for Sam Darnold, I know there's a lot of talk out there. Can he win the big one? Does he choke in kind of the critical moments? And I think ultimately you don't have to prove it anymore. There's nothing you have to prove. You're a damn good quarterback. Just be judicious with the football and making decisions. You don't have to prove to us that you're our guy. We paid you. You're our guy. We believe in you. And so I think you walk away from that game with a level of confidence, even in a loss, if you're Seattle.
No doubt. If you're Seattle, you walk out of that building saying, when we see them in Week 18, what are the odds that Sam's going to throw 4 picks and we're going to settle for 4 field goals? You know what I mean? Like, what are the let's turn even one of those field goals into a touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Let's turn one of those interceptions into a longer drive, maybe for another field goal, right? I mean, like, Seattle's got to feel good, if they can, about the way that they lost. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. It's funny, in my own career, I went to Kansas City once and we lost a game late on a 54-yard field goal last play of the game. And you walk out of that game going, man, losing sucks, but we're a damn good football team. And I think that actually was our first Super Bowl year, where we were a wild card team in Denver, when we went in there and lost that game in 1997. And I remember walking out of that game feeling like, man, we're a damn good football team. If you can go into Kansas City and play them that way, because it was such a tough place to play.
Yeah, Mark Schlereth.
You're just a really good football game. Really good football team.
Mark Schlereth here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're chopping it up on the Disney Plus ESPN side of our simulcast. We're also now back on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance, talking about a wide open league right now, man. I mean, and the Eagles as well haven't been lighting it up on offense in the way that we're accustomed to seeing from last year, but their defense, I was talking about it with Chris on our Overreaction Monday podcast. This may be, again, I know Denver won Super Bowl 50 in Santa Clara, where Super Bowl 60 is taking place, and Von Miller was the Super Bowl MVP of that game. We might see another repeat, right, where a defense carries the day, maybe against an MVP quarterback like they did against Cam Newton in that game. The defense carries the day, and a defensive player is going to win Super Bowl MVP, because the defenses, we talked about it last week, are still entering week dozen, seemingly ahead of the offenses in this league.
Yeah, it's been incredible to watch. Like you said, Philadelphia, what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball, what the Denver Broncos are doing defensively, hell, what the Rams are doing defensively to be able to stop the Seahawks on, 4 drives and make them kick field goals. Like that's been kind of a theme throughout this NFL season, as some of these dominant defenses and the way they're playing. And you got to remember, in Denver's win against Kansas City last weekend, not only did they not have J.K. Dobbins, their starting running back, But Singleton, their middle linebacker, who's the play caller, he's the extension of Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, and the best cornerback on top of that in the National Football League, and Pat Surtain. And so they did that and had that defensive performance. The Kansas City Chiefs only converted 5 of 16 third downs. I thought like that third down defense by the Broncos, that was a masterclass in coaching and execution by the Denver Broncos defense. And it was come get a taste defense. We're going to line up and play you man to man, and you can't beat us. I don't care if you have Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if you have your receivers healthy. I don't give a crap. We're going to play the way we're going to play. We're going to bring pressure, and we're going to play man to man across the board. It was, like I said, it was an absolute masterclass in playing defense. And the Broncos are big time legit going into this thing.
And it's kind of wild, back in week 4 when Baltimore was at Kansas City, that wound up being one of the last games that Lamar Jackson emerged from healthy, even though the Chiefs beat the crap out of the Ravens. And we're thinking, Chiefs are back. Here we go. And now both are 5-5 with Lamar healthy entering week 12. And we feel completely different about each of these teams and how they arrived at getting to 5-5, right? So let me ask you this, starting with the Chiefs at 5-5, like the Ravens and now the Texans are. The Chiefs at 5-5, how concerned are you that they're not going to be able to flip a switch this year, or you're unconcerned, Mark?
No, I am. I'm concerned. I mean, I'm concerned. I still think, like you said, the Baltimore Ravens are on the uptick. They're rising. Houston doesn't have enough offense. Their defense is exceptional. I just don't think they have enough offense. I don't believe right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though they're sitting there right now. I just haven't seen enough improvement for Trevor Lawrence to think that Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to figure it out. So I still think the Chiefs are viable for a playoff spot. But man, they got some tough games coming down the stretch here. They've got obviously a first place schedule. And they haven't played enough consistent football, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to make you feel super comfortable. I just think that the other teams ahead of them right now are very flawed, and that's why I think they get in as a wild card playoff team.
Okay, so the Chiefs eventually force the issue on whoever welcomes them into their wild card house to say, we're the ones who are finally going to put the nail in your coffin before the Super Bowl. First one since basically Joe Burrow, right? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's what you see as the Chiefs' January path here from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll get in. You can never discount Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Spags, because they're damn good, and they have a track record, pelts on the wall. They understand what they're doing, and they understand what playoff football is all about. I mean, they have more experience than anybody, right? They've been to 7 straight AFC championship games. So, even if they get in, they're one of those teams that if they get in, you're just like, oh gosh, here we go. It's the Chiefs. And so that's always going to be tough. And they're going to have an opportunity to win it as a wild card team. So you probably just assume they keep struggling down the stretch here and not get in if you're another AFC team. But they do look a little flawed. They do look a little spent right now. And like I said, the Broncos straight up in critical situations said, hey, man to man, we're not afraid of your quarterback. And it was impressive. And it's just impressive the way they played the Chiefs.
Mark Schlereth here on the Rich Eisen Show. How far the Ravens go? What do you think?
I think the Ravens, I think they're going to win that division. So they'll win the AFC North. And then it just depends, like health wise, they really struggled early with their health on defense. They still have a couple of guys, Matabuke is out, he's done for the year, who was really their best defensive lineman. But I think the Ravens are going to get in the playoffs. I think the Ravens could make a lot of noise. They're going to win that division. And then offensively, with the way they do things, to run the ball with Lamar, as dynamic and as multiple as he is. They're another one of those teams that in the playoffs I think are a scary team.
Mark Schlereth here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay. Who emerges from the AFC? I give you that choice right now. What do you got for me?
Wow. Who wins it in the AFC?
What do you think? What do you think? Because we just talked about how the usual front runners are the ones who are fighting to make it as a wild card, if not for the Ravens winning their division. And then you got sitting at the top Patriots, Colts, and Broncos. What do you think?
I think
the Bills are lurking still.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are playing great football right now. I could see, it all lines up. You mentioned Santa Clara, and it makes me think, the last time the Broncos went to the Super Bowl, it was in Santa Clara. You talked about it, them winning Super Bowl 50, Von Miller winning the championship. Who'd they beat in the AFC Championship game? Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in Denver, Colorado. How about that as a rematch? I'll take the Broncos mostly just because I live in Denver, but it feels really good just saying it.
No, I hear you. New England's got they have all the feels though, right? They got the feels right now, and it's not just that. It's just Drake May's playing out of his skull, and it doesn't appear to be anything but an ascension of somebody maturing and crushing it before our very eyes, with a coach who in his second time around is doing well in terms of recasting himself and having a better sense of things as a second time around coach. Josh McDaniels coordinating the offense. Does this sound familiar? It's a familiar story to you. And in terms of the Brady, Belichick, McDaniels era, the Patriots are getting things like, when we face a difficult team or a team that has a terrific player on it, that player just somehow is either A, injured, or B, like Jamar Chase, suspended. Like he won't be there when they're playing on this. This reeks of previous Patriot years when you discount them. Now look at them. So you can't discount the 9-2 Patriots from doing it this year, Mark. You just can't. And
listen, man, they shut people down on the run. One thing about Braves is there's certain football things, that never go in and out of style, right? They don't go in and out of vogue. And controlling line of scrimmage is so big. When you sit down and talk to Vrabel, it's like, this is what football is. And you look at them, as far as defending the run is concerned, man, they do a phenomenal job defending the run. They have one of the elite level cover corners in all of football. So it creates an opportunity, defensively to have options on the back end from a coverage standpoint. That's Christian Gonzalez, who is outstanding. And then what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, you can say whatever you want about Josh McDaniels, and his head coaching tenure, with the Raiders and with the Broncos. The bottom line is, that dude can orchestrate an offense, and he gets young quarterbacks to play exceptionally well. Remember, when he had Mac Jones went to the Pro Bowl, although I think as an alternate, but he went to the Pro Bowl and played really well his rookie year. And then, Josh McDaniels leaves to go to the Raiders, and Bill Belichick has this wonderful idea to bring in both Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to be co-coordinators. And, the rest is history. Mac Jones falls off a map. I will tell you that Josh McDaniels is phenomenal as a play caller, setting up plays. And it's not just calling plays, Rich. He calls an offense. So he sets his offense up. He sets his players up. And his quarterback is playing exceptional football. And I give Josh McDaniels a ton of credit for that right now, for the ascension of Drake May.
Mark Schlereth here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let me just linger a little bit here on the Jamar Chase suspension and what happened with Jalen Ramsey. Were you in the stadium when Bill Romanowski spit on J.J. Stokes? You were there that day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You have any recollections that you want to share that might teach the kids something about how this has been going on for quite some time? Or
it's not something that it happens a ton. I mean, we started the season.
That's right.
Right? We started the season with, was it Jalen Carter that spit toward Dak Prescott? This is just one of those things that I mean, it doesn't happen very often. It's complete and total disrespect. There's no question about it. I was thinking about my guy Aqib Talib. If it would have happened to Aqib, he would be suspended for life because he probably would have tried to end Jamar Chase's life in that situation.
So let me ask you this then, because again, Ramsey got the gate, and
Yeah.
Chase is, he's going to appeal his suspension. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Do you think the NFL, now knowing what it knows, or it is alleging, should tell Jalen Ramsey, are bad for ejecting you, or because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he was going to. And I understand Chase is like, hey, I was cheap shotted by Jalen Ramsey. It's not like Jalen is completely has the angel, halo over his head here. But the reason why he got ejected is because he got his face spit in, which, as you pointed out, is beyond disrespectful and unprofessional. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can never take the ejection back, but you can give him his money back and say, hey, man, like, I would love to see that. Our bad. And, and then as far as Jamar Chase is concerned, like, in my time, if something happened to you during the course of a game, like you got cheap shotted, you just tallied that, you put it in the tally thing, and then you had some frontier justice on a couple plays later, and that's how we policed ourselves. Like that, it got to the point where everything was policed through frontier justice, and that's just the way it worked, and it was that's the way you were coached to do it, and I miss those times. So, so I think that's the way it should go.
Frontier justice. It sounds like you administered such justice at some point in your career, Mark.
Oh, no? Yeah. I not only did I minister it, but I had it administered to me on several different occasions. I can remember more than a couple of times where we threw an interception in a game. And that was always frightening because, I'm holding somebody on every play. So every single play, somebody's pissed at me. And all of a sudden you've got to, circle out of there and go try to chase this interception. And I had two guys that knocked me ass over tea kettle. Bruce Smith hit me on an interception so hard in Buffalo once that, I mean, my feet off the ground. He hit me so hard, my head snapped back and snot shot out of both nostrils. And I got up and I was, you're trying to act like it didn't hurt, right? And meanwhile, I'm like seeing stars. I'm dizzy and I'm trying to wipe because I thought my nose was bleeding, and I'm stumbling to the thing, and like I thought it was my nose. I mean, just so much snot hanging all over the place, and it is like when you're holding somebody on every play, they're going to get you. And Leslie O'Neal got me like that too one time where, that's why you have your head on a swivel when you get when you throw an interception, because somebody's going to try to lay you out.
Was Elway ever trying to get the guy who's picked him off, or he stayed out of that fray, Mark?
No, back then the rule was as soon as a quarterback threw an interception, defensive line tried to attack the quarterback. Because back then you could hit them, you could block them.
Right.
So, yeah, they went after quarterbacks in that time, which, again, was just that's the way it should be. You threw the pick, you deserve to get hit.
And plus, that old Rich Stadium turf was not like a pillow either, right? I mean,
no, it was a December game. It's a December game. It's freezing. There's snow. I mean, it was awful.
A story, Mark, I'll share with you before I let you go. Marshall Faulk told this story to me multiple times because I asked him to retell it over and over again. Is that, he always thought, and rightfully so, he's Marshall freaking Faulk, that he could do whatever, that he could succeed to his Hall of Fame ability against anybody. And so he was very confident. But he remembers the first time when he was playing in Rich Stadium and Bruce Smith came out of the tunnel. And it was, he said, a warm day. So you saw he said it was a kind of a coldish day. So you could see the heat rising from the turf.
Yeah.
And he was all greased up coming out in his sleeves. And the place was going nuts, and it was like the field was a crown. So you could only see the top half of him.
Yeah.
And he remembers thinking, OS, that guy, like he's one of the few guys that actually caused him to have a little hitch in his pregame giddy up. Mark. That guy.
We used to my offensive line coach, Alice Gibbs, used to say, because he thought Bruce Smith was the best defensive player like ever.
Yeah. Sure.
And he used to say, when I rate players, he goes, I put Bruce Smith one notch below Jesus. He's like Jesus, and then Bruce Smith is right there below him. That's how good that player was. And he was, man, Bruce was unbelievable. Just an unbelievable talent on the edge, played hard. They could flat rush the passer.
That sounds like a South Park episode, certainly when you're talking Colorado. All right, Mark, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it. Always enjoy our chats. You be well. Let's do this again next week, if not real soon. Thanks, bud.
Sounds good, brother. I'll talk to you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Schlereth of Fox, 3-time Super Bowl champion, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. I just love when he goes down memory lane. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.